Please, can you read yourself?
Okay.
That's what you followed.
So in the system, there are 250 currencies listed. Out of those, the commonly used ones like US dollar, British pound, Australian dollar, Indian rupee, those type are by default enabled. But there might be some that are not enabled, less used currencies. We can enable them, and if they're not, if we have a currency from a new country which is not available in the 250 currencies, then you can create a new currency in the system.
Yes. Set up currencies, define. I say control plus F11. When I say control plus F11, you get to see all existing currencies. Let us talk about the fourth currency from the top. AFN. Afghani. Afghani is a description. Name and description both are Afghani. Afghanistan is the name of the country. Extreme rate, if you see it's not been enabled. But in case it's not been enabled, you can't able to use it. If in case you want to use it, you should enable it. Just enable like this, say save. You don't want to use it, disable it, save it. Got it?
Yeah.
So similarly, GBP, Great Britain pound, pound sterling. Who is going to issue? United Kingdom. Pound is going to be issued by the United Kingdom. So it's been enabled. So if it's been enabled, what you do? Just leave it off. Don't touch that. If in case you want to enable, you can enable. It's already been enabled by Oracle, leave it off. Let me talk about INR. INR is Indian rupee, Who is going to issue India? Extreme rate use, it's been enabled. So it's been enabled, go ahead and use it. If in case you want to create your own currency, you can also as well as create currency. How? You can say file new, I'm creating rupee, rupee, rupee. Who is going to issue? India. Created by the user on 4th February. It's already enabled the system. If in case you don't want to use it in the future, disable it. So anyway, don't create the currency. Why? Because it is already tailor-made, ready-made one given by Oracle. You can as well as definitely use that. If in case you want to create, you can also as well as create. No issues in creating new one. Is this clear?
Yeah.
So INR UC, it's already been enabled by Oracle. So don't worry about that. Tomorrow, if at all you are doing project for any other country, you make sure that that country currency is there or not. Yes, if it is already there, also make sure that it's enabled or not. In case it is not been enabled, just enable it, save it. Shall we go?
Yeah.
Yes, please, I request you both people to read again once again. So second C is currency we done. Third C we are focusing, that is calendar. Currency, there is nothing that much you need to do. Go and verify it's been enabled or not. In case it's not enabled, go and enable. So in Oracle, we have two types of calendar. One is accounting calendar, other one is transaction calendar. What do you mean by accounting calendar? Again, accounting calendar classified into two. What is that? Calendar, no, other one is fiscal calendar. What is it? Calendar, other one is fiscal calendar. What do you mean by calendar? Calendar is that one which is going to start on 1st January and which is going to end by 31st December any year. That is called as calendar. How about fiscal calendar? Any calendar which is not going to start on 1st January, anyway, any calendar which is going to start somewhere in the middle of the year. That is called as fiscal calendar. One is calendar, other one is fiscal calendar. Calendar, for your understanding, I am putting normal, regular, general. But tomorrow when you go to interview, don't say normal, regular, general. All that we don't have. What we have in Oracle is normal, and what we have in Oracle is calendar and fiscal calendar. What do you mean by calendar? Any calendar which is starting on 1st January, ending by 31st December, that's called as calendar. How about fiscal calendar? Any calendar other than calendar. Any calendar other than calendar is called as what calendar? That is called as fiscal calendar. Is this clear? The boundaries of the fiscal calendar could be what? If you take India, financial year starts from 1st April. This starts in 1 year, ends in a different year. April to March. Or you can see second one, February to next year, January. Or you can also see July to June. Starts in 1 year, ends in a different year. So that is called as what? That is called as basically fiscal calendar. Starts in 1 year, ends in a altogether different year. So when you create a calendar, it is going to ask you, calendar you want to create or you want to create a fiscal calendar. You can use any one of these, but you can't create for your business both. Any one of these you can able to create, calendar or if not calendar, fiscal calendar. So calendar you want to go or fiscal calendar you want to go, decide one. Second decision is what? Periods per year. How many periods that you want to create per period? I can create 52 weeks. I can create 12 months. I can create 4 quarters. I can create 1 year in a year. What is that? I repeat again. 52 weeks, weekly calendar, monthly calendar, quarterly calendar. Other one is what? Yearly calendar. 1st Jan to 31st December. That is called as yearly calendar. Quarterly calendar, monthly calendar, so on. So here you see, you want to create a calendar, you want to create a fiscal calendar, that is the first decision. Second decision is what? How many months or how many periods, how many weeks, how many quarters or year that you are going to create, that is the second decision. So first let us take the decision, then based on the decision, we will go and build the calendar. Shall we go further, please?
Yeah.
Set up financial calendar type. What was the name that you are following? Lanco, right, or Tata? What is the name you are following?
Oh,
Tata,
Tata
or
Group.
Lanco?
Tata Group.
Then I say now Tata Group, or I can say Tata period type. Tata period type. Periods per year, 12 periods. Calendar, or you want to go with fiscal? Which one you want to go? Calendar or fiscal? I would like to go for calendar. Created for Tata period type. So Tata period type, what we taken decision? Tata period type we selected that it will have 12 periods, 12 months. That will have 12 months. The two will have calendar. The two is a calendar. I repeat again. Tata period type will have 12 months. The two is going to be the calendar. If in case here, if I am going to use 4, that means we are going to create 4 quarters. If in case if I am going to give 52 or 53, that means I am trying to create a weekly calendar. Let us go with monthly calendar, 12 months in a year. It's a calendar or fiscal. I will go with what? Calendar. Created for Tata period type. Save it. Now what we done? Just taken a decision. It is not going to be the fiscal. It will be only calendar. And the second decision is what? How many months?
Periods.
How many periods will be there? 12 periods will be there. Is this clear?
Yeah.
So based on this decision, now we need to go and create the calendar. I believe both are recording the session, right?
Yeah.
Now I go with what? Calendar designing. Name of the calendar, Tata calendar. For Tata calendar, prefix, you can type January, you can type month 1, you can type period 1, like that you can type prefix. So anyway, let me go with what? January. Type is what? Type just now we created. What is that type? Tata period type. You select that. There we already taken a decision. 12 months, that is calendar. So here you use the year 2014. Number 1. Here also number 1. 1st January 2014 till 31st January 2014 will be one period. And we got shortcut key called as Shift plus F6. Shift plus F6 will copy whole record. Shift plus F6 will copy whole record. First change from here. To you change, then you change the from. March 31st, then you change here from. So for every period you need to give start date, end date. So July, August, September. October, July, August, September, October, November, December. Just tell me, have you guys followed the calendar?
Yes, I.
Here you see you are giving, we are saying the 12 periods, right? So that is the reason we got 12 periods. Here you see 12 months. Then if first December till 31st December is last period, started and ended. Then you see when you come to the matter of quarter, for only for our understanding we are giving January, February, March falls under first quarter. January, February, March falls under first quarter. April, May, June falls under second quarter. July, August, September falls under third quarter, whereas October, November, December falls under fourth quarter. It's only for our understanding that we are giving this 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3. But mind you, please, we are not trying to create any quarterly calendars. We are creating only monthly calendar. Then coming to the name, system is going to take dynamically. How it is going to take the prefix January. Here same thing January. The last 2 digits, that is 2014. Here you see January 14, February 14, March 14, April 14 till December 14th. Able to follow?
Yeah.
Save this, now you get a message, transaction completed, 13 records. Why 13 records?
Because the type, calendar type, the period type, and also the 12 records for each month.
Period type we already saved, right? Without saving that, how come we can pick here?
Right, right.
The name of the calendar, Tata calendar is 1. The bottom 12 records, totally 13 records. Tata calendar is 1 record, bottom 12 records we have, right? January, December, 12 records. Totally 13 records. Got it or not?
Yeah.
Now I try to close the calendar. The moment I say F4 or close, you get a message now. Read the message.
Got it, say.
So it is saying that should I check your calendar? Should I go and validate your calendar? You getting my point?
Yeah.
So what it is saying? It's saying that should I validate the calendar? It is saying that you created a calendar, very good. But should I go and validate your calendar or what? Validating is nothing but what? Verifying the calendar. So system is asking, shall I go and check your calendar? Okay, system, please go ahead and check my calendar. But don't say all, simply say current. What do you mean by current? Only the calendar which is displayed, only that calendar will get validated. Click on current. So it is going to give some number. So do remember the last 4 digits, 0397. 0397 is a number. How to check the ID? Go to view, request, find. Here you see 0397 calendar validation report pending normal. Saying what? Pending normal. You should finally come to what? Completed normal. It is completed normal. That means the Tata calendar is in good condition. No errors that it's been occurred while creating the calendar. So how to check that? Go to view, request, find. I repeat again, view, request, find. So calendar validation report completed normal. You should get completed normal. You may get completed error, you may get completed warning. One more is completed normal. It's normal, it's fine. Is this clear, man?
Yeah.
So now we also done with the calendar. The 3 C's are required at this stage. 4th C, let us not worry about the convention. Convention also will focus later. What we done till now is chart of accounts, currency and calendar. So now we are eligible to go and create the ledger. But before you go and create the ledger, we also require to understand something else. Let us understand that something else. Then finally we will go and create the ledger. Yes, please read by yourself, both of you.
I didn't understand the last part, Sai. It says the first one is mandatory, but it also says on top that the following 6 are mandatory.
Okay. What do you mean by that? What do you followed out of it? To create the ledger, apart from the 3 C's mainly, that is chart of accounts, currency and calendar, what we required is we also required 6 mandatory accounts. What are there? Return any suspense account rounding different translation net income or net earnings. You also required reserve for encumbrance. But here there is some clause is here. What is that clause like? We may not able to create the ledger without the 3 C's plus for the first one. What is the first one?
Retained earnings.
So that is required to create the ledger, whereas other 5 are optionally mandatory. What is that? Optionally mandatory. What do you mean by optionally mandatory? let's say example, there is an employee called as A working for a company called as Reliance and corporate office is in Mumbai. He is working from Hyderabad. One more guy is there working from Hyderabad. Employee B or employee X working for a company called as Thomson. Corporate office in New York. A working for company Reliance, X working for Thomson, corporate office in, both are working in Hyderabad. So you see, A will record all Hyderabad information. At the period end, he is going to report to the Mumbai office. So when he is going to report which currency he will report in INR. Hyderabad INR to Mumbai INR, both the currencies are same. You don't require to separately convert Hyderabad INR to Mumbai INR again, because both are INRs. Whereas the guy who is sitting in Hyderabad, X, working for a Thomson company, where America, they got a corporate headquarters. Those guys saying that convert INR figures into USD, because they are saying that we can't able to understand that easily the INR figures, so convert the INR into dollars. So for Thomson company, the the translation is needed, whereas for Hyderabad company, the Reliance company, translation is not needed. Why? Because both the currencies are same, so they don't require to translate from INR to USD for Reliance. Whereas Thomson, those people sitting in America, they would like to know the performances in India, Hyderabad. That time we need to convert INR balances into dollars, because to report for reporting purpose. So translation is needed for Thomson. Reliance, no translation is required. So that is the reason I'm using a word called as what? Optionally mandatory. What do you mean by optionally mandatory? Optional for Reliance. For Thomson it is mandatory.
Got it.
Whereas other five are optionally mandatory. Mandatory for one company, for other company it is optional. So that is the reason translation, you see, this example I just gave till now. Followed or not?
Yeah.
Mr. Kumar, please go through this. Harsha, please go through this.
Got it, saying.
So the business got started in 2012. 2012, what is the total revenue?
75,000.
Expenditure?
50,000.
Then what is the profit?
25,000.
The profit is what? 25,000.
25,000.
Profit for 2012 is how much? 25,000. Right? Then the same profit figure, whatever we got, the same profit figure we are going to show in a balance sheet. Like what? We are going to show with the heading called as retained earnings. Below the capital is how much? 4,75,000. Below the capital we are going to show the retained earnings is what? 25,000. Is this clear?
Yeah.
So how you differentiate profit and retained earnings, Kumar? Anyway, let's discuss further. Then we can. I'll ask you the same question. So profit is how much?
25,000.
25,000, and retained earnings is what?
25,000.
Just read this, please.
So it's carry forward from previous year, or
What is the revenue for 2012?
85,000.
2012.
Oh, 75,000.
Expenditure,
50,000.
profit,
25,000.
the same profit we drafted here.
Yeah.
2013, the story goes like this. Total revenue is 85, the expenditure remains same 50. 85 minus 50,
35.
35. The same 35 we are going to display here. But not 35, it is displaying 60. How? Why?
It's carry forward. It's carry forward from the previous balance sheet.
So then what way you differentiate profit with the retained earnings? Tomorrow when you go to interview, someone will ask you, what do you mean by profit? What do you mean by retained earnings? How you differentiate?
It's the total accumulation of earnings, not only in that calendar year, but from all previous calendar years.
Okay. Then what is profit then?
Profit applies only to that year.
Yes, that current year.
Yeah.
So the profit is nothing but current year profit, net earnings, net income. You can use so many words. Net profit, net income, earnings, all this comes under, is almost all same like profit only. Net income, net earning, net profit, all that is called as profit. Then what about retained earnings? Accumulated profit is called as retained earnings. You can go through the note. Current year profit is nothing but profit or net income or net earnings. Whereas accumulated profit is nothing but what? Accumulated profit is nothing but retained earnings. This is what we discussed just now. Clear?
Yeah.
Out of these 6 monetary accounts, how many monetary accounts we discuss?
2. We discussed retained earnings and translation. Well, I guess you just gave an example about translation adjustment.
Only 2? Or only 1?
I guess only 1.
We discussed 3, Sukumar.
Oh, I have to stop answering your questions, right?
Why? Just now we discussed net income or net earnings.
Right.
Current year profit is nothing but net income or net earnings or profit. Translation is nothing but conversion of local currency into foreign currency for reporting. Retained earnings is nothing but accumulated profit. So we discuss retained earnings along with that net income, net earnings also we discuss. So totally we discussed 3. Now let us see suspense account. Yes, please go through this.
Got it, sir.
So what you followed, Sukumar?
Harsha, do you want to? Harsha, do you want to say? I don't want to get in trouble anymore with Sai.
Why like that? Nothing.
Yeah, I'm trying to
No, I'm
understand
just joking.
what was written out there. It says like whenever you're trying to enter a debt without credit or credit without debt, debt balance are not matching, then automatically it sends to a suspense account.
Yes.
Let's say your rent account is 15,000 as debt, but your cash account entry was 15,000 as credit, which is matching. But user enters only first line where rent account is 15,000, but there is no cash account for it.
Corresponding
Then
credit.
system automatically pushes that, or else there is no credit amount of 15,000. System automatically pushes that 15,000 as a suspend account in credit. So which is a mismatch, and then it throws out a suspense account number as 15,000 in credit. That's what it says.
Yes, that's right. But when you get error,
Yeah, when there is unbalance, when there is a balance, when we are not getting a balance, the equation, let's say there is no, I mean, the round off should be 0, and the round off is not 0 in both the cases. It throws out an error saying that, I mean, there is a suspense account.
Sukumar.
Yeah, that's the last line is what I'm confused about, Sai. It's it looks like Harsha said, it's like if there's a debit entry for 15,000 for rent, and there is no corresponding credit entry, then the system automatically populates the suspense account with a credit entry of 15,000. But I don't see why there should be error, unbalanced journal entry. I think maybe because suspense account is like a generic account as opposed to
To create the ledger, I'm going to create, let's say example, Tata ledger. Tata primer ledger, like that I'll be creating. While creating the ledger, I require to select the 3 C's. The first C is what? Lanco group structure. Second C is what? Is first C we done. Second C is what? Currency. INR.
group structure.
Yes. Tata group structure. Second C is currency. Third C is what? Tata calendar. What else is needed to create the ledger?
Retained earnings.
Written earnings is also needed. So with all this, your lecture will be ready. But using suspense account or not, that is left to you. Let us assume that I take a suspense account. Let us assume that I say taken a suspense account. If I take a suspense account, what will happen? As Harsha told, if I am going to pay rent account DR to cash account CR, then debit and credit is matching, then fine. Both are perfect. But if in case there is a debit of rent, there is no credit of cash, such case this suspense account will come into picture. Why? Because the user has opted suspense account while creating the ledger. While creating the ledger called as startup primary ledger, we also selected suspense account. Being I selected the suspense account, here system is going to give me the suspense account. The credit will be the credit suspense account it is going to support. But the credit suspense account is going to support.
Yeah, understood that part, but the error part.
But if in case I didn't give one suspense account, because to create the lecture what you require, return earnings is enough, right? 3C is enough, right? 3Cs and return earnings I created. Suspense account not used by the user. User don't want to use it. Such case what happened? User entered debit. User could not able to give any credit. Only debit given, no credit. When there is no credit, system will go and check it. Suspense account is available or not at ledger level. So suspense account is available or not. No suspense account is available at ledger level. When there is no suspense account available at ledger level,
error.
system will throw error, unbalanced entry. Unbalanced general entry, suspense not allowed. That means you see the entry debit is only there, no credit is there, unbalanced entry, suspense not allowed at ledger level. The suspense account is not been opted by the user at the ledger level. Entry is debit is there, no credit. When no credit, system will go and check at ledger level. Ledger level below return earnings you have suspense account or not. No suspense account is used by the user. When there is no suspense account, here it is not going to balance the credit. If in case you have a suspense account, let's say example here, what will happen?
The system will populate the suspense account.
Yes, system will give suspense account here. So here this suspense account won't come when there is no suspense account here, no suspense account will come here. Such case what you will get? Error number 6. Got it or not?
Got it.
Shall we go gentlemen?
Yeah.
Unbalanced journal entry, suspense not allowed. Unbalanced entry, only debit is there, no credit. Suspense not allowed. Not allowed in the sense suspense is not been defined by the user at ledger level. It's not been defined, that's it. Shall we go further?
Yeah.
Is a request you please go through this.
right?
Yes.
Then what is the difference between both of them? I mean, suspense account and reserve for encumbrance.
You need to tell me.
It sounds, I mean, I haven't heard about this thing, so it sounds same for me.
This, I think this applies to budget as opposed to
When is a rent account DR, no credit, you will get suspense. If it is salary account CR, DR, then also you will get suspense account. Let's say example, purchase account DR, then also you will get suspense account. Whatever I discussed just now, rent or salary or purchase, all these are nothing but actuals you call. What we call actuals. What do you mean by actuals? Day-to-day business transactions are called as actuals. Day-to-day business transactions, రోజువారీ వ్యవహారాలు. Day-to-day business transactions are called as actuals. One more what we have is we have budgets. What do you mean by budgets? Predicting, planning, forecasting. Budgets is altogether different. You can able to predict for 2015. You can able to predict for 2016. Planning, predicting, estimating. What do you mean by actuals? Daily business, what is going to happen? You pay salaries, you purchase the material, you pay electricity, you pay telephone bill, we do sales. For those actuals, whenever there is a debit, no credit, for that you will get automatically suspense account for actuals. But for budgets, what do you mean by budgets? Forecasting, planning, predicting. For budgets, if in case there is a debit, no credit, for that you will get reserve for encumbrance. Suspense account, reserve for encumbrance, almost all both are similar. But where the difference? If it is actuals, debit, no credit, you will get suspense. If it is budgets, debit, no credit, you will get reserve for encumbrance. There is only major difference that you need to encounter. Followed. Harsha.
Yes, I.
Yeah. Now I got a value of 2000.37 paisa. What my system will do is it will minimize 0.37 paisa. It will bring you to say 54 paisa or 64 paisa. What it will do? It will add up. Anything above 50 paisa or 50 paisa, it will add up. 46 paisa, it will add up. It will bring you to 2001. System will do the rounding to the nearest point. If it is below 50 paisa, minimize. If 50 paisa are above, add to that. Being it is 54 paisa, it is going to add 46 paisa and round it to the 2001. Rounding to the nearest point. So here you see we have one more account called as what? Here you see we also got, we discussed retain, we discussed suspense, rounding. Rounding is what? Rounding to the nearest point. Other than that, you see translation, we discussed net income, current year profit is nothing but net income. Other one we discussed reserve for encumbrance is nothing but whenever there is debit, no credit or credit without debit, for suspense you will get reserve for encumbrance. Followed, gentlemen?
Yeah. Yeah.
So these are all mandatory accounts to create the ledger. Now, I request you to please go through the diagram. We'll discuss this diagram, then we'll wind up the class for today. We'll catch up tomorrow. In creation of lecture, tomorrow we'll create the lecture. Day after tomorrow, if possible, we'll try to pass the data.
Got it.
What do you follow, gentlemen? Any one of you?
Well, the ledger consists of the
Two
primary setup.
components.
Yeah.
Two components, A and B component. What is A component? Accounting setup, and B component is what? Accounting options. Only accounting setup is not going to be called as ledger, or only called as only accounting options or ledger options is called as ledger. Accounting setup with accounting options or ledger options, both put together, you call it as ledger. What will be there in the accounting setup?
The 3 C's.
Ledger name, don't forget the ledger name. Ledger name with the 3 C's is called as accounting setup. Ledger name भी चाहिए. Ledger name with the accounting setup. Sorry, ledger name with the 3 C's is called as accounting setup. Ledger name like Tata Group or Birla Group or whatever it may be. Here in my case, Tata Primary Ledger along with the 3 C's. 4th C can be there or may not be there. Chart of account, currency, calendar, these 3 C's. And the ledger name is called as accounting setup. Only accounting setup is not going to make up the ledger. And what is required? Ledger options. Accounting options. What would be there in the ledger options or accounting options?
Retained earnings, suspense account.
All the selection of mandatory accounts like retained earnings, suspense account, translation adjustment account, rounding difference, net income or net earnings and reserve for income, and etc. What do you mean by etc.? Some other options also is there. All those put together you call it as what? Accounting options or ledger options. So A plus B both put together it is called as ledger. Accounting setup and accounting options. Got it, gentlemen?
Yeah.
So how to create the ledger? Let's see in the next class. How to build the ledger, how to create the ledger, we'll see in the next class. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Sukumar and Harsha, tomorrow please log in by same time. But I'm not sure tomorrow I'm available or not. Mostly 99.9% I'll try to come. But 1% I'm not really sure. Please wait for me not more than 5 minutes. But if I'm coming, I'll be logging by 8:30 itself. If in case I'm not coming, wait for 5-10 minutes, maximum 5-10 minutes, then you can leave the what you call for the session. You can go ahead with your work. We'll continue day after tomorrow. But don't worry, we are trying to accomplish it this weekend.
Okay, sir.
Okay, but don't forget to log in tomorrow. Please log in and see. Mostly I'll try to come, but 1% I'm really not sure.
Okay, sir.
Take care, gentlemen.
Okay.
Have a good day. Have a good day. Take care.
Bye.
Let's say example, I'm going to create a structure here now. let's say Tata. Then I go to segments. I type company.